virtual e-learning for parents. We are excited to have you join us as we begin our 2024-2025 school year. We will begin with our land acknowledgement. Let us acknowledge together that the Halton Catholic District School Board stands on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Huron-Wendat, now home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We acknowledge the current treaty holders of the Mississaugas of the Credit Nation. As settlers, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of the land and for those who continue today. Now with our opening prayer. Let's start with the sign of our faith. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Heavenly Father, we praise you for this event and your purpose for it. We know that when we gather together, we always have a divine agenda. Our prayer today is that your will be done through this event. Take what we have prepared and multiply our efforts as only you can. Steer our intentions to align with your righteous will. May all glory go up to you when we reach the finish line and climb over the benchmarks. Blanket us with your peace today. Keep love at the forefront of our minds and the guiding light for all as we set out to accomplish and celebrate. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Now to introduce our wonderful speakers in this session. Thank you for joining our e-learning session. As you are aware, HCDSB grades 8 to 11 students will have the opportunity to take e-learning courses for their choosing through a selection of courses offered through the Catholic Virtual Ontario, CVO. Through CVO courses, students will be able to achieve credits online as they work towards their secondary graduation diploma, learn in flexible and engaging ways, gain important digital literacy to support lifelong learning and future employment, and select from a wide range of subjects that may not be offered at their school or cannot take due to scheduling conflicts. As a note, the Ministry of Education requires secondary students to earn 2 online learning credits as part of the requirements to graduate with an Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Today, we are lucky to have knowledgeable speakers who will provide us with information on this topic. We have Superintendent Del Sororo, Sonia Edson, Vice Principal of Thomas Merton Center, and Maureen Aslan, Curriculum Consultant specific to those students in our grade 8 to 11 grades. With that, I hand it over to our speakers. Thank you.
Good evening,
just say
everyone.
Hello, and over to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is M. Del Sordo, and I'm the Superintendent of Student Success and who has responsibilities for e-learning. I am thrilled to welcome the Halton Catholic District School Board community so that we can really share more information about how to support your child with getting their graduation requirements and how we can prepare your child and our students really for the future, for a career pathway that really speaks to their passion and their light. All right, we'll move on in the slides.
A little loud.
Our agenda this evening is I will start with just setting the context where I'll talk it from a provincial level down to the board level so that we can really understand how we are, what we're doing with and the rationale for an e-learning from a provincial again to the board level. Then we'll have both our amazing e-learning vice principal or responsibilities of e-learning is Sonia Allison. And then of course, our wonderful technological enabled learner teacher there is Maureen Ashland, because honestly, these two women are the real presentation behind how we can support your children with online learning. And then we'll give you some demonstrations as well. Next slide. Thank you. As it was said by our introduction, this is a graduation requirement of 2 credits for online learning. There are multiple opportunities to get those 2, and there's also an opt-out process, so that we discussed that in grade 11 or the end of grade 10, entering grade 11 as the process begins. You can find out everything you need to find out about online learning through the policy program memorandum from the province of 167. Our next slide really speaks to the Ontario online learning has a platform which is called the Virtual Learning Environment. This is the VEL. This provides students with the opportunity to take these online learning credits, as well as giving the opportunity to still have face-to-face classroom settings and really continue to work with the face-to-face setting with our teachers. So students receive this instruction, and all the support comes from only Ontario certified teachers. What it really does is it prepares the kids for the future and really developing what we call those digital literacy skills, so that they're really understanding that when they leave high school, they will be entering various pathways, be it the pathway of work or the pathway of college or the pathway of university. They will be faced with taking online courses, and this is a way for us to support them in that piece as well. Next slide, Marie. Just want to share a little bit of data and the great news of how we are doing. So this is just a little bit of the temperature of online learning in Halton Catholic District School Board. You can see about 3 years ago, we started with only 9 classes. So we only had about 9 classes for our students, and that was about 314 of the Halton Catholic District School Board students. And you see that the pass rate was 91%. So students are very successful in the online platform. And later on in the presentation, you'll be able to read some of the what we call student voice. This is students' feedback on their experience with online learning. If you look at the following year, which was last year, we had 19 classes. So we got virtually double every year. And from the 19 classes, you can see we had 658 of our students who accessed online learning, and we had 92% pass rate. And again, you'll be able to see some of our student voice. Currently, this year, thrilled to share that we have 60 classes of online learning. That's 1,283 of our students are currently registered, and we continue to monitor that because second semester also starts, and you see a number of kids accessing online learning. We're hoping that we continue to double with a little bit more and offer at least 150 classes. This is all based on student voice and choice and our work with our consortium partners. Next slide. Also want to share with you that we have partners in online learning. As a Catholic organization, we have access to 66 of the Catholic Virtual Ontario courses. So these are courses created by CVO and for Catholic teachers by Catholic teachers, and these are all Ontario Catholic teachers. So every of the 66, and they continue to grow, of these online courses are what we offer. But we offer it in a partnership with what is called the OELC, which is the Ontario eLearn Consortium. So this eLearning Consortium means that all the boards in Ontario belong to this, and we're a member of this board, and we have access to all these courses that our board might not be able to offer. And all of this is in partnership, of course, with the Ministry of Education that guides us and gives us the boundaries by which we operate and evolve our online learners. Next slide. This is just an interesting slide that I'll probably end up with and get you right into it. When you think about the virtual learning environment, one of the things that we want to understand is that there's going to be a lot of language, and we apologize about that. So we try to simplify it. But what you'll see is that the government, through the Ministry of Education, titles it Virtual Learning Environment, the VEL. So if you hear VEL, you know that that's just what the government calls it. Each board takes that, what the government gives them as their shell, and starts to find best ways to respond to our learners in our board. And so we have two tools. We have Brightspace and we have D2L. What I want to share with you is these are just the tools to do what virtual learning environment allows us to do. So when you hear a virtual learning environment, or you hear D2L or Brightspace, it really is saying the same thing. So these are all synonymous. They're all about being the virtual learning environment. And I wanted to let you know that so that this way you understand that we're talking about the same thing with the virtual learning. And now I give it off to Sonia.
Excellent. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Sonia Ellison, and I am currently a vice principal with the Halton Catholic District School Board. I work out of the Thomas Merton Center for Adult and Continuing Education, and I have the privilege of overseeing the online learning program here with the board in collaboration with both Em and Maureen. So one of the things that we thought was important for parents to understand is how do we decide what courses we're going to be offering to students, and where does this come from? So as was mentioned earlier, and Em sort of showed you that a little bit, we work in collaboration with our partners, but we also want to make sure we're taking care of our own students as well. And so there's a couple of things that we're going to be doing a little bit differently this year that we wanted to highlight. The first thing is CVO, the 66 CVO courses that Em mentioned earlier will be all on the My Blueprint options, course selection option sheets available for students to tell us, I think I'm interested in taking that course as an online credit. So we are putting those courses out there to gather the evidence from students. We want to know what students are telling us. We want to know what they're interested in. And so by putting all of those courses there, we can start to make decisions about what courses we're going to actually end up offering as one of those 150 plus sections. The other piece is that we communicate with our guidance departments. They give us a lot of really good information because they can see what students are asking for that maybe that school can't offer, potentially because it's undersubscribed. Maybe there were only 5 or 6 kids that wanted to take a particular elective, say. And so we take that information and we can say to those students, would you consider taking that course as an online section? And so then at least they have the option of saying, I really, really wanted that credit. And if this is an option that's available to me, I'm going to take it as an online course. So we're not saying, no, you can never have that credit, but here's an option for you in a way to get that course that you really wanted to take. The other piece too is that sometimes we have courses that are oversubscribed. And so we look at those courses from guidance and we say, I only had room for 30 kids, but I had 40 kids that were interested. How do I decide which of those 40 kids are going to get that credit? And so guidance counselors will meet with students often and say, look, we can offer this credit to you as an online course. Would you be interested in taking it? And as students make that decision, supported by their parents, of course, then we can make room for kids in person, or we can allow kids to do that online to allow some flexibility in their timetables. So we get information from guidance as well. And thirdly, as Em mentioned earlier, we are part of the Ontario eLearning Consortium. And what happens every year is they provide us with data, year-over-year data that says these courses will always be important for us to run as online courses. So for example, ENG4U, the grade 12 University Pathway English, tends to be a course that we offer online often. And the reason for that is it is a high demand course. It is a course that absolutely every kid entering university will need coming out of grade 12. And so we want to make sure that we have that available to all of our students. And we also want to be able to make sure that we can share that across the province through the consortium. Other examples of courses that we can't offer become courses that we go to the consortium and we say, we have a student who really wants to take a fashion design course. We're not able to offer it to that student. is there a way that another board in the province who is offering it as an online credit can pick up one of our HCDSB kids so that way they can have access to that course? So those kinds of things come out in that year-over-year data as well. So boards who typically offer fashion design know that there are students across the province that are interested in taking it. Maureen, thank you. So we're going to go into my blueprint, and that's where the kids do their option sheets, their course selections. Every secondary school's course selection looks a little bit different because some schools offer certain courses that other schools don't, but all of the courses will have the online credits embedded in that screen. So I'm going to jump in to share my screen, and we all cross our fingers and make sure it works. Start here. Okay. So this is our D2L homepage, or our VLE, or our Brightspace homepage. It looks a little different for students because this is my view, so just don't worry too much about that. But on each of the students' homepages, there's a My Blueprint link here, and students can go right from D2L right into My Blueprint. They may have to log in once, but then it's a single sign in and it passes through. So that's my favorite thing about that. Just takes a second. So if I go and look at this as if I were a student, I actually can start to look at my high school plan, and I would encourage you to do this with your students. You can start looking at your plan to decide, where things might fit. So I have a little test one set up here. And obviously I haven't done a whole lot, but currently it says that I'm in grade 10. And so next year I'm going to start picking courses. So as I'm planning my courses, this is also a place where I'm going to get comfortable with my blueprint. And when it comes time to do course selection, you can see that there's English grade. Obviously I'm looking for grade 11. So let's just scroll right down to grade 11. So in grade 11 English, we're looking at either the NBE 3C, the NBE 3E, or the NBE 3U. What's going to happen next is that your child is going to see NBE 3UE, and that will be an online learning option. So E for e-learning, and it will be right in this list of courses for students to take. So we're in the process of making that change. So I wanted you to see sort of how the plan worked so you can see that. Currently, what we have, which is really great, is a way for students to find their online courses. So if I scroll down, you can see that there's the online courses here. And we have it set up right now that students can choose 2 online courses. This is a little bit of a throwback to a previous process that we had when we only had a few courses to offer. We wanted to make sure that as many students could have access to courses as possible. But now, in collaboration with your guidance counselor and with permission from your high school principal, students can take more than 2. We just like there to be some reasoning behind it. We want to make sure that kids feel connected to their schools, that they are a part of that learning community, and that online learning is a way for them to maybe take something that they can't take in their homeschool, or to allow flexibility in their timetable, or maybe they've got other things going on and having that spare period in their day would be helpful. For example, like if they're training for something, an elite athlete or such. And so if they're training maybe in the morning, then they would be late for period 1 all the time. So we can put an online class in period 1, and then they would look for ways to complete that course in other times. So currently when students click on this, they'll be able to see all of the a variety of online courses that we offered to students in the last year. So you can see there's some geographies and history, some law, some English, some humanities and social science courses. We included in some computer science and some math courses, things that are sometimes difficult to offer in day school due to demand, or due to courses just being undersubscribed. So there's a variety of courses that were listed in there, and we encourage students to select those. And the nice thing is they can actually even add it to their plan. And then you can see add the course, and away they go. All right, Maureen, back to you.
Sonia, just before we move on, we have a few questions from the chat, which
Oh, please.
your expertise. One of the questions is, if a student is enrolled in a full-time in-school course load, 4 courses, could a student do an e-learning course at night if available?
So they cannot take a 5th credit during the day, but they certainly could look at taking a night school course, which we offer as a remote synchronous option right now. But no, they can't add a 5th section to their day school timetable.
Next question. Excellent. I love that. It's from Dads. It says, is there a maximum number of online courses a student can take?
So there actually isn't. There's a minimum, right? The ministry would like all students to have their 2 online courses when they graduate. Of course, there's a couple of things that we take into consideration when students want more than 2. And there's a variety of reasons. We have students currently that are taking 4 online courses right now, and it seems to be working for those students for a variety of reasons. We have some students that are doing 2 day school credits in the morning, and then they have other things that they do, and they have 2 online courses in the afternoon. So again, it's a conversation with your guidance counselor, with you, with your child, and just a check-in with the principal of your high school. We just want to make sure that some of those other pieces about being a high school student are taken care of, right?
Next question. The pass percentage is good, but do you have data about overall averages of online classes versus in class? And I know Sonia will answer this, but we're pulling data all the time, and it depends on if we're checking our students in our online courses, as well as our students taking courses outside with other Catholic school boards and then other school boards. So
That's right.
I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I don't know if we have, because I think we're still kind of early in the game. We haven't really started to compare data between the courses. The other thing there too is that sometimes kids are taking courses with other school boards that none of our schools are even offering. So it does make it a bit tricky to compare all of them. But certainly that's something we can take back and look at some data as the program grows. Where are kids being more successful? Is it an online, or is it in person, or is it both? Like maybe there's a balance there. We don't know. That's a great question. Thank you for that.
I'm going to ask a few more questions because I just mindful of the time. So the next question is, my son is in grade 11. Does he need to do 2 online courses to graduate? I believe we had an option last year to opt out. So we will be mentioning that after, but you can go ahead right now, Sonia.
Yeah, that's an easy question to answer. There is an opt-out process. Em sort of alluded to it with the PPM 167. And a student doesn't have to decide to opt out until really they're ready to graduate. So if you're not sure if you're going to opt out or not, I would say just you could wait until grade 11 and have that conversation with your guidance counselor before you go into grade 12. And to be honest with you, you could even have that conversation with your guidance counselor in between semester 1 and semester 2 of grade 12.
These are awesome questions coming in. I'm not sure which link you'll post. We will post all the links at the end, and you will also receive the slide deck, which has all of the links embedded. Next question is, what is remote synchronous?
Oh, yes, I know all these words, right? So online learning classes are considered to be asynchronous, meaning that there's no real live lesson or no specific time for a student to be online with their teacher. They can be online when it is suitable to their schedule or to their, your family life. But we do encourage the students to log in daily and do the work daily and kind of keep up with their studies that way, the same way that they would with a face-to-face course. But remote synchronous is what we're using currently for night school. And so remote meaning you're at home, you're not in the same classroom, you're outside, but synchronous means live instruction. So there is a teacher, not unlike what we're doing right now, where the teacher would be delivering the lesson, showing things on the screen, maybe sharing a PowerPoint, sharing a video, encouraging students to use the chat, to raise their hand, to engage. And then we use D2L typically as a platform to house content and a place for kids to submit work and do those kinds of things.
These are excellent questions. This one, I know the answer is yes, but it's always good to hear it official from the administrator. Are online credits transferable between different school boards?
100% yes.
If a student wants to retake a course that he took already, is it okay?
Yes.
Do students starting grade 9 September 2024 have to take online courses to graduate?
By the end of grade 12, they will need to have had completed 2 online courses.
Next question. These are amazing. How many additional courses can one take besides the 4 courses per semester?
So in your day school timetable, it's only 4 per semester. That's the way the timetable is set up, and that's the way that that schools function. But students may also take 1 at night school. They can also do 1 in summer school. I know that some students will go to other district school boards to take night school if it's a course we're not offering, and that's allowed as well. But I think it's really important too to look at the balance between what the workload is like in day school before trying to attempt a night school course. It can be a lot of work.
Next one is, can grade 9 students register?
So yes, grade 9 students can definitely take online learning credits. Our board is working toward that. Like we said earlier, we're still growing our program, and we do support grade 9s taking online learning courses. We don't recommend it as a full timetable because we do think that there's some value to being in a building connected to your classmates and your community, and finding other ways to be part of that school. But we certainly allow students to register for online courses.
Similar question, can they take e-learning in grade 9 and 10? I think you've answered that.
Yep.
But the next one is, can students take online courses during summer as in summer school?
So our summer school program is typically an online program, and it is an optional program. Summer school is not mandatory, but if it fits with your family's life and you're looking for your child to either recover a credit, maybe they didn't do so hot in a semester and they want to redo that course and get a better grade, or improve their learning and those kinds of things, then absolutely. If a student would like to reach ahead, and we do have lots of students that do that during the summer, it is just the month of July, so we do expect daily logins, and kids can do it.
I'm going to give you 3 more questions and then we'll get back to our slides.
Okay.
But there's amazing questions. Someone in an IB program, when is it advisable to take an online course to better manage their workload?
So we do not offer IB specific programming. So if there's an elective that they're looking at that's not an IB course, they can take an online learning credit whenever it fits. So I don't know. I think that's a good conversation to have with your homeschool, with your IB guidance counselor.
Here's another question with a thumbs up. So a few people have this. How does testing performance assessment work for online courses? Great questions.
It is a great question. So we will be taking a little tour of a course. Maureen's going to show us D2L and Brightspace. So you can see some of those things. So teachers use a variety of tools to do assessment and evaluation, discussion boards, tasks. There's a quiz tool. They are often asked to do a PowerPoint and do the voiceover. They could be recording themselves and sharing a video. Like there's still practice, homework kind of stuff that they need to do. There's the portfolio tool, which is also a great way for, I know those math and science folks out there. I used to be a math teacher, so I get that. The portfolio tool is a great place where kids can actually upload their work. So I can see that a student has answered a question. I see that they've written it out. I see their own work. And so all of those pieces become part of that collection of evidence of student learning.
I'm going to keep going because I think we have 3 students with amazing questions. So I think that you have such great insight, Miss Allison, that I think we would like you to answer these. So one of the students, I believe it's Jad, is asking, if I take a course online, will that mean I do not have to take it for the rest of my school years? So that's an interesting one. So we're not sure what grade you're in. So if you are in bottom line is grade 9 student, you have to take 2 online credits by the time you graduate.
Yeah. So you can decide whatever fits best for you.
Okay. And the next one is, do you have to do online classes in grade 9?
Nope.
And nope. I'm having trouble. This is a great question. Shout out to Aiden Han. I'm having trouble deciding which elevated elevating courses to take. Do you have any more suggestions? So we're going to go through some of the courses in a moment, and there's so many to choose from, but this is where we would always say, speak with your parents, guardians, and also speak with guidance at your school level and find out who is there with you and go from them. Next question is, how many online courses can be taken in the summer? Always a great question.
So we only offer summer school in one session, so only one with us.
And then the other one is, if you do civics and careers, that's 2 half credits. So it's
So
one
yes,
credit.
so it's one full credit. Yeah.
If a student chose the opt-out option, does he still need to do 2 e-learning courses?
Nope.
No, but what we're finding is those that did opt out end up coming back and then taking 2 online learning courses anyway. So really up to the student, up to the family, up to
And you can always change your mind.
Yep. So are these online courses mandatory to graduate? Yes, there's 2 online courses to graduate. I love this one. How much credits do you earn per online course?
So an online course is 1 credit, the same way as that course would have been 1 credit in face-to-face school.
How can you confirm if there was an opt-out option selected on my child's blueprint? So I don't believe
that's a great question. Yeah. So when you go when you go into my blueprint to start doing your, sort of checking things out for the next school year, I think that you have the option to select it again or not. So if you don't select it in grade 11, I think it wipes out whatever you selected in grade 10. As an example.
So some of these are repeating. Can you take online courses yet? Credit in the summer. If the credits are, what mean you can opt out of? Parents have to choose with their child to not take online.
That's right. Yeah, it needs to be a discussion. Yeah. And again, like I said earlier, I wouldn't be jumping to that decision right away, because you might find that your child wants to take a summer school course and that counts as an online credit. You might find that in grade 12, you really, really want to take a particular business credit and your school isn't offering it, but it is being offered through online learning. And so there's your second credit if you take the business credit.
These are such great questions.
Yeah, we encourage, I mean, Maureen and I are a little bit biased, let's be honest. We love online learning, but we do recognize that there are times where it makes absolute 100% sense and other times where it may not make as much sense for kids to take it. And that's totally okay. But again, don't jump to opting out right away. Take some time, look at what high school is offering you, look at what your path might change too through high school, right? It doesn't, not always a straight line to get from A to B. So along that way, you might decide that yeah, that course is really something I wanted to take. And so if you've already, if you want to change your mind about opting out or opting in, you get to do that.
Thank you. A shout out to all the parents who are putting on these great questions. A few more before we go to a live tour. How can I register for night school? That's a Sonia question.
Yeah, so night school SEM 2 registration, all of that information about night school and summer school you can find at merton.hcdsb.org. I will actually even put that in the chat. And you usually get a message from our StratCom team. So there will be an email that comes out just before registration or just as registration is opening for night school. And then once again, as registration is opening for summer school. But as a sneak peek, typically night school registration for SEM 2 opens early December. And then, so that email should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. And then summer school, we don't open until mid-April.
Great question. This one I think was answered, but we'll just repeat it because it's been coming up a few times. My child is in grade 8. Can she start an online learning class in the summer before grade 9, the Reach Ahead program?
Yes, there are some limits on what grade 8 students can take. And again, there will be an email specific to grade 8 parents to help you make that decision about what summer school could look like for your kiddo.
Next question, amazing question here. Can a child or student in AP courses in grade 9 can take online courses as addition?
So not in addition to your 8, but again, that's a guidance question for those homeschools around which AP courses your child is going to be gearing towards taking. And so if there's some flexibility in other credits, then by all means, online could be an option for you as well.
I am loving these parents. I love this one. Universities take the top 6 grade 12 courses into consideration for admission. Are online courses included as part of this?
So there is a little bit of some misunderstanding, I think, out there. There are, from what I know, and again, I'm not in guidance, but from what I understand, there are a couple of universities that have highly competitive programs that are a little bit stricter about online learning credits, but they're also strict about repeating credits. So you really need to do your homework around which program your child is interested in, and then they could just to know what those restrictions are for their applications. But generally speaking, most universities will take your top 6 credits regardless. And in some cases, the I guess I'm, I'm trying to think for just because I'm my own kid who is now in 4th year, I'm pretty sure he had 2 online credits on there and they both counted just as high as anybody as the other 6, like the other 4 credits. So I don't think there's an issue there.
Okay, and then this is a great one, but it's always about prerequisites. Can a ninth grader take a grade 12 course, for example? Great question.
Not typically. Most grade 11 and 12 credits require a prerequisite, unless it's an open level course. And in all honesty, I would be very cautious about trying to jump into grade 12 credits as a grade 9 student, only because there's some skills that you develop through grade 9 and 10 that would help support you in being more successful in a grade 12 credit. Because remember, grade 11 and 12 credits are fully disclosed. So even if you don't get a great mark on it, it does show up on your application center for post-secondary. So you want to be sure that your grade 11 and 12 marks are the marks that you want everybody to see.
Because we're doing so well, we're going to finish off on a roll here. If my son takes an online course during the summer, currently grade 9, would that course count towards one of the online course requirements? Yes.
Yes.
Are the daytime online courses interactive with a live person? This is a great question.
So, well, it's an interesting question. So there's not that there's a live lesson, but there's definitely a live teacher. And so teachers are available to support their students. That's a really big piece to online learning. I think that's different than some of the other online experiences that kids have, is that this teacher is across the province. These are all Ontario certified teachers who work in district school boards who are teaching these courses. So while the content might be online and the students are more static in that engagement, the teachers are always there to support, to provide feedback, to engage the student, to set up meetings. If you're struggling and you want to meet with your teacher, often teachers will set up those times for you via Teams, and you have that live interaction. You have always access via email. There's lots of ways that teachers are there to support kids.
Okay, so I'm going to give maybe 2 more questions and then we'll take a pause. But this one is, are there any asynchronous courses offered?
So all of our online courses are asynchronous. Yeah. It's that language thing.
This one, it says, can you please explain the difference between de-streamed and locally developed? Does this apply to online courses as well? So that
yes, it does apply to online. So de-streamed are grade 9 courses that students coming out of grade 7 and 8 who have completed grade 7 and 8, curriculum and have met those course expectations. Typically, students would go into de-stream next, but the locally developed courses exist for students that maybe they had a modified program in grade 8, or there's a variety of reasons why kids take locally developed. Again, that's a conversation with your grade 8 teacher, because they would help you make that decision about going into either locally developed or de-streamed in grade 9. We currently don't offer a grade 9 locally developed online because there's different ministry requirements about that. But we are certainly looking at growing our grade 9 and 10 course options for students. And so the grade 9s would be de-streamed courses at this point.
I believe this is the student, Miss Allison. If I choose any 2 courses, will they be acceptable by the universities whenever I apply? So I think you mentioned that, but if you want to just highlight that again.
Again, it sort of depends on the program that you're interested in, but generally speaking, the universities don't have a problem with online credits.
Oh, another question about summer school. Which date can someone register for this summer's online courses? I believe that's in the spring.
Yeah, in the spring. Yeah. And registration will open sometime in April and it stays open until mid-June.
This is, I'm not quite sure what the question is here, but it says, so if my child takes summer school, which they can only take once, they don't have to do online classes, right?
So
Not quite sure.
if they do 2 summer school credits that are both online, then they would not need to take any online classes in day school.
Yeah.
They would have met their requirement of two courses.
This is a great question, and I had this just the other day. If a student takes extra online courses through night school or summer school to fast track their credits and wants to return for a 5th year to upgrade courses, how would the 34 credit cap limit their ability to return and take additional courses? Great question.
I think I might defer that one to M, but I would like to put in a little plug for Thomas Merton.
Yeah. And right underneath is the link to Thomas Merton.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
You're muted, my friend.
Do you want me to say that again?
Question. No.
Okay.
I know the question. Yes, so there is a 34 credit cap. So the question is fantastic because what it really speaks to is pathway planning. So know that if you are taking courses that are a part of your pathway and you need to fast track, or you, for whatever reason, you take them in the summer, it's part of that 34. However, if you need a 35, 36, 37 credits, then you can go through Thomas Merton, which they can offer an array of courses as well, some of which are the remote synchronous options, some of which is face-to-face, and some which could be also online learning. And so you have many, many options, but the credit cap currently exists. There are ways also you can get that we serve beyond the 34 cap, and that's if a student has an IEP, for example, and they haven't graduated by then, and they need a certain pathway program that they have to continue doing. Well, until they graduate, that cap stays open until they literally met all the requirements for an Ontario secondary school diploma. So I hope I answered the question. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Del Sordo.
You're welcome.
Is there a cost to register for online courses? And then someone already answered, no, it's very free. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Miss Allison.
Nope.
Next question.
Very, very free. Yes.
So if I'm in grade 10 and I take an online course that's mandatory to take for grade 11 and 12, can I take that course online and have a free course for grade 11 and 12?
So if you're looking at creating a space in your timetable for like a spare period, typically schools recommend spares only in grade 12. So that's definitely possible. But again, that's a planning conversation. So as you're planning out your courses for grade 9, 10, 11, 12, as you can do in my blueprint, that would be after you've got that plan, I would take it to the guidance counselor and ask to have a conversation about that.
Okay, this is a great question, and it's come up this past week with me a few times. So a student would sign up for an e-learning course, which would be scheduled during their school day timetable, and work on the course somewhere in their home school.
Yep, they could also work on it at home in the evenings or on the weekends if they have other things going on. Like there's lots of examples of students, certainly that I've, when I was in traditional schools, where a student was they had medical issues, and so they couldn't. They had to had a lot of doctor's appointments in the morning, for example, and so they could only be at school in periods 2, 3, and 4. And so in period 1, an e-learning block was created, and that student actually worked on that course at a different time, just because of their own life and what they were going through. I had a student who was an elite tennis player and had training in 4th and missed 4th period 3 days a week. And so instead of missing a class 3 days a week, we put in the e-learning block there. And that way that student had wasn't missing face-to-face class, and they made their own arrangements on, sometimes they used their lunch period, sometimes they would use the e-learning period when they were in the school building, and then sometimes they would do their work in the evenings.
What is the time frame to complete an online course?
It's the same as your semester.
Perfect. And then the next one, How can I find a selection of courses in summer learning? So Ms. Allison already showed us the blueprint, but I'm also going to show where you can find the courses from CVO and the OELC in a moment. The meeting is being recorded, and I believe that the CPIC people will send that out to you afterwards, along with the slide deck that we were using. Another really great question. How many days a week and hours a day are the summer school courses in the e-learning forum?
So summer school runs on a 20-day schedule, and it's about 5.5 hours a day because we need to ensure that the course meets the 110 required credit hours from the Ministry of Education.
And I love this question. If having any additional questions, who should I get in touch with? You can
Me.
email Miss Allison is probably your best part, but we also have linked in the PowerPoint our online learning page, which has all of our contacts and anyone that you will answer all your frequently asked questions, which I love that these questions, I might have to add a few of these into our next page.
Yeah.
Is there an online page to read and understand all the topics and understand better? Please share the link via email. We definitely will do that. And we also are going to show you the page where you can go to on hcdsb.org, and we'll do a live demo on how to get that. There are time frame to complete an online course, usually either in the summer or if you're doing it by semester, semester 1 and semester 2. So just like in day school, it goes by semesters. I am looking at my blueprint currently, and it seems that the option for e-learning is not available. I'm in grade 8. It's probably not there just yet. Is it, Sonia? For the grade
8s? Yeah, I don't think it's
different.
there for grade 8s because, again, the conversation around grade 9 students taking online learning is not our favorite thing for kids to do in their high school in grade 9. We like them to get used to being a student in high school, but that does not preclude you from taking an online credit. So that, again, would be a conversation between student, parent, and guidance to put in for those requests. I would suggest, though, that for grade 8 students, if you're looking at taking a grade 9 online course, that's a conversation you have with guidance sometime in late April or into May, once the whole option sheet process is kind of settled. And then we also would know what online credits we'll be offering. And then you would have that conversation with the guidance counselor.
Okay, I'm going to give about 3 more minutes for questions. Is summer school a live class?
No,
it's
asynchronous.
Yeah. My son is in grade 9. He doesn't have my blueprint. I would double check that with your guidance department because every student has accounts. And if they go into the VLE, there's a link I can show you when we do the live demo to my blueprint, and they can click it, single sign on. They're already in, goes right to their blueprint.
Yeah, that's a guidance question.
Yeah. If my child is not feeling good for an online course, can we apply for not taking it? Yes, there is the opt-out. But as Ms. Allison mentioned, not to do that right away, take your time, and there's no rush. You have all the way till grade 12 for opt-out.
Yep.
Is there more presentation or just a question and answer? No, I'm going to go and do a live demo. There's more questions. I can't read them all. I'm going to share my screen.
I'll try to answer some of the questions, Maureen, as you're doing the demo. I'll just reply to them in the chat. There is one hand up. Do we want to just grab that quick before we go?
Oh, okay. Go ahead, John. We're going to do a live demo now as well. John, do you want to go ahead?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll wait till the end. Yeah.
Sonia, can you let me know if you can see my screen?
We're good.
Okay, so these are the Catholic Virtual Ontario courses, and I know that Em mentioned them. I'm going to actually pop out to the CVO site so you can see them. The link is embedded in the PowerPoint as well, so you can go at your leisure. What's amazing is when I came to the school board last year as the TELT Technology Enabled Learning and Teaching, I just realized my camera's off. Hi, Maureen Asselin, TELT for the board. So I have these accounts for your children and those that do online learning. But I'm so excited because the CVO courses, Catholic Virtual Ontario, are always expanding. So I'm just going to do a little live demo here. These are all of the courses that are available currently with Catholic Virtual Ontario that we have access to, and that we have teachers who are teaching these courses this year. And we're expanding for semester 2. And then next year, as Em had in his graph, approximately 154. It's a drop down. So you can just go through and check. We have many courses, and we're looking at some French courses, math and science. So again, it depends on your child. Find out what they love. This year, one of the things that we found is many grade 10 students wanted to take ASM 2.0, and that's the arts credit. And it was just something that was really interesting to me. And we have some amazing teachers teaching media arts. So that's for their arts credit. It is open, it's online. Kids are really loving it. I've been in with some of those students, like not in their class, but just messaging with them to find out what's really going well, what's do we need to improve on. So we're always updating. So this is available to any of you as Catholic parents. You can go and visit. And then I just also wanted to show you for the Ontario eLearning, the link is in the PowerPoint. I can go back and show you the slide. But for parents and students who are on the call, you go here and you can view all of the courses that are available for Ontario. So we'll select our school board. We go to Halton Catholic District School Board. I'm going to select semester 1 because we're still in semester 1. You can also, we can do semester 1 regular. And these are all of our courses that we are currently offering, that we have many of our own Halton Catholic District School Board students in, as well as our students from other Catholic school boards and other school boards within the province. So that's there for you. And then if you're on the line and you're a student and you're like, hey, I might want to do this next semester, you just go down to semester 2 regular. And these are all of our courses that we're offering for semester 2 right now. And it's quite long because we're increasing up to 60 sections. So we're very excited about that. And these are all provided by Halton Catholic District School Board teachers who have taught the course usually before, and now they're moving either to online. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of that. And I'll just come back to the PowerPoint. And so the links are here, they're embedded for you, and you can see that. And I'm going to take you now to a live demo of the Halton Catholic District School Board. It's linked so your students will know how to, actually, I'm going to just do it right from here. HCDSB, and we can go in like this. So the students, I'm going to show you what they can see. I'm going to view as a student. So all of your children have access to the VLE. They always have to log in at students.hcdsb.org. They all will have courses here. Mathify is here for them. One of the things we wanted to highlight was My Blueprint. So the students will go here. So for that person who said they're not sure where their student's account is, they log in, they're in their virtual learning environment, also known as D2L. It's all here for them. My Blueprint is here. Mathify is here. And then one of the things that Ms. Allison asked me to highlight was my courses in other orgs right here. So if they are taking courses within HCDSB, it will be sitting here. And it will be like, here's an example of one here. This was one of our ASM 2.0s from last year. And I just wanted to show what it would look like for you to see. And I can click and it will go right in. And then if I'm taking a course outside, obviously as a teacher I don't have that, but this is what it would look like, and they click in and then it goes right into their course. One of the courses that we wanted to highlight for you tonight is that's because I'm viewing as a student. I have to go back out and stop viewing as a student. I love that. One of the courses we wanted to show, I'm going to go back here and find Sonia, it's SBI 3U. And so the students have access to this course. I'm showing it as, this is the master course.
You could show both the
CDO has
3C as
created.
well.
Okay, so this is
Just
what
so
it
they
looks
can
like.
see both. Yeah.
This is when they go in. Of course, when the students are in with a course and a teacher would have the teacher's name in, their name will say, welcome Sonia, welcome M, welcome Nancy, those kinds of things. Here's what all of the courses are very similar. They set up the same way. So they all start here with welcome to Catholic Online Learning, welcome to SBI Grade 11 Biology, and then this is really for the students. How will I be assessed? So this is great for parents to review with their students or their child whenever they're starting to take an online courses. How do I navigate the course material? So all of the lessons have been set up with a minds-on action and a consolidation. And I find a lot of the students love being in the action part. Course tools for the students, they're all listed here. This is how most of the courses are set up. All students have access to a portfolio for their entire secondary school. And if they started it in elementary, that continues on with them while they're a Halton Catholic District School Board student. Some of the tools that I love is the portfolio and the quizzes. Students really respond to that. For online learning, one of the tools many of our educators really respond to and use is the discussions. And that's the way that student voice and choice really comes through. Catholic tools for students, these are all here for them. So our courses are very much linked to our Catholic faith. And this is here, tips for the learners. They're all drop down. So this is some of the features that are online courses. So it's not just all text. There's lots of, this is the accordion. I love that they have flip cards. They have lots of different features for the students. A lot of them have interactive components to them where they might go and watch a video clip and have a response. Meet your teacher. So the teachers will always be there and have a little contact number for them. So even though it's an online learning course, many of our teachers do reach out to the students throughout the semester and have conversations either by email. Sometimes they meet on Teams, those kinds of things. And then also all of the courses have gone through an equity, inclusion, diversity review, as well as an Indigenous perspective. And they also are very mindful of that it's accessible for all students, all learners. Teacher guide, you don't need to see that, but that's there. And then here's an example of one of the courses. Most of them have most of the courses have 4 units, and some have 6, depending on how the organization is. But each one has activities. Mine's on action consolidation. And then the consolidation is where those assessment pieces come in, the voice and choice, all of that. So this is just an example. I don't know if there's questions. I'm sure there is questions coming in. I just wanted to show you the different types. And then, Sonia, you said you wanted me to show a different course, so I'll back and check that. I was going to pop into, this is the mathematics, just because a lot of our courses, students, when they get to grade 12, they seem this is one of the most popular courses in the province. This is one of the ones that we offer at Halton Catholic. We have some amazing teachers teaching this. I'm going to go into probability just to show an example of one. This is the Unit 7. So they're all very visually appealing and it keeps kids engaged. Here's an example of the minds on, the action, and the consolidation. I find it's harder to read like this, so I always make it bigger, and it's all here for them, which is a bit more easier. I hope you're all seeing that. And I'll just get out of that now, hopefully. So it's also here, minds on, action, and consolidation. And the best part is they're all current, they're all up to date, and they're linked to the Ontario curriculum. So now I'm just going to start at that. And I think that's it. Sonia, would you like me to show one more course?
Maybe the SBI 3C, that's another popular one.
Okay.
I think it's important too to recognize that we try our best to offer a variety of courses and a variety of pathways. So there was a big this past semester, actually, we had a lot of kids that were really interested in a humanities course. The code is HPC30, and it's a grade 11 open level course for parenting. And the kids were really excited to take that. We had a lot of demand for it. And one of our teachers, who the e-learning teacher, really enjoyed teaching it through online, and has taught the course in person before, and was really impressed with sort of the way that it flowed as an online option for kids too, because again, that's a course that doesn't often run in every school. Some schools have a ton of interest, and other schools not so much. So by offering it through online, we were able to meet the needs of a lot of students. I've been answering questions just sort of as we go, Maureen. I've been answering questions in the chat, so I've been replying to them. So hopefully folks can see that. But one question did come up just before you go too much further that I think I need you to answer. Is a parent was asking if there's a way for them to track and see their students' progress.
So if they are connected to our courses at Halton Catholic District School Board through the portfolio tool, so all the students, if they've, it's called the Pulse app for the parents, and we have that turned on for our online learning courses. So a lot of the parents in grade 8 have asked, oh, does this continue on? And if their student is registered, they're with us, they have access to that. So also some of our teachers have within their courses, depending on each teacher, they have it turned on so that parents are getting emails as well as the students. So whenever anything is feedback is given or a quiz has been marked. A lot of it is
Like an alert.
an alert. Yeah, it's been
Okay.
marked. It's been something like that. I hope that answered that question.
Thank you.
I think that's good. And I just want to go back. I'm going to go back to the slide deck to see where we're at on that, because I think we had two more things we wanted to highlight too. I'm just going to go from here. So if any students have any trouble accessing any of their actual online learning course, they can reach out to me or put in a service desk ticket, check in with their guidance counselor. But usually the students don't have trouble. It's if they're taking a course from my courses in other orgs. So we do have a link there for that. They can always reach out to us. We'll assist them. All the guidance counselors know how to find that as well. But there's also the teacher themselves in the course that will reach out to the student. We just did our live demo. There's questions for that. We wanted to finish with what our students are saying. And I'm just watching the time. Some of these really jumped out at me. I loved hearing students saying, I like working at my own pace. One of the other ones that really jumped out was most of the teacher's information was helpful, and I didn't have to worry about being shy and showing presentation in front of a lot of people. And then there's a few that we didn't highlight, but that they were able to showcase their voice in a different way. So either through video note, or they were able to put something into the computer and ask for feedback and then able to resubmit, those kinds of things. So I'll just give you a moment to read through some of those, and I'll come back to the chat. And I think that's good. And then I'll give you, I think our next slide is just, any questions for you? Hey, we did pretty good, 8:02. So I'll double check the chat and see if we've answered all of those questions. And if anyone wants to come off mic and ask any questions, please let us know. Sonia, I'm not sure. It looks like you've answered all of these questions.
I've been trying really hard.
Them. I know there's a lot. Great questions. These are like amazing questions. So thank you so much for your feedback, questions. We are always trying to improve. So if you as parents, guardians, and caregivers have any feedback, please do let us know. We're both the virtual learning environment, the Ministry of Education do listen for our feedback as educators and administration, but the student voice and parents, whenever I send that in, say, parents are asking for this, can you please make that available to them? They do respond. So they are receptive to our things. We have two hands up, and I think Maria Jose, you were first.
Yes. So I'm doing a Spanish course and it got moved to online. It was initially in person. Would that count as an e-course or no?
So if the Spanish course is with us at night school, it does have a synchronous component. So it is a live lesson every Monday night. So that would not count as an online course. So it is considered to be a remote synchronous course, which is different.
Thank you for your question. The next one, I believe, is Prabhakar.
Hey, hi. Thank you. Thank you for organizing this. I'm a parent. I'm just wondering if a parent has access to log in and see the progress. And I wonder, ninth grade, is this mandatory for ninth grade to do those courses to get the credits? Thank you.
Great question. So no, for the ninth grade, they have from grade 9 all the way to grade 12 to take 2 online credits. Some students are choosing to do that in grade 12 just to work it in with their timetable. I'm also, my other hat that I wear is I work with the privacy officer of the school board. We always ask, even while I was teaching, I would always ask to log in with my child, with your student. So whenever my own children were in high school and I'd say, how are you doing in school? Let me see what's going on. I would sit down with them and go through it. So the other option is to use this. It's called the Pulse app. It's on our online with the students. And sometimes the teacher has communication with the parents. So when they send an email out to their student, the parent also receives that. So it depends on each teacher sets up their course a little bit different. I hope I answered that question. And I'm not sure, but I think Pascal, you were next.
Yes, hi. The question is, I know you had mentioned earlier that they can take a summer school course being optional. My question is, can they take a summer school with one board and another second summer school course with another board?
So I know that Toronto district, I believe, it might be Toronto Catholic, but the bigger boards tend to offer double sessions of summer school because they can manage that. I would never counsel a student to do 2 online summer school courses at the same time, because the ministry does require students to complete 110 credit hours to earn that credit. So that works out to those 5.5 hours per day. And I mean, it's just a lot for a kid to do the 2 courses at the same time. You know, at the end of the day, I can't tell you yes or no. That's a conversation that you need to have with your child and with thinking about what that looks like moving forward. But it is a lot of work to do 2 courses at one time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Janelle, you are next.
Spoke earlier about access to courses offered at other boards if it's not offered within our own. I'm just wondering, I know because of the demo through My Blueprint, we could see the online courses that we offer. If there's something not there, but it's offered elsewhere, does that get sort of added to My Blueprint so the student can then choose it? Or how does that process work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it doesn't get added to My Blueprint because My Blueprint really is specific for us gathering information for Halton Catholic. But Maureen took you to the screen, I think earlier, where the OELC course catalog was housed. So that link is in the presentation. And so the courses currently are there for 24-25. That will be updated in the spring, and you'll be able to see courses offered by all of the boards that are part of the consortium for 25-26. So if there's something there that is of interest to you, to your child, to have the conversation with guidance, and they will put, so basically the way it works is our students get put on wait lists for other boards first.
Okay.
Our students get automatically added to our courses, right? Like it's easy. I mean, they might get waitlisted if I don't have enough space, but all of that happens seamlessly for our kids in our courses. And then Maureen and I start calling our friends in other boards to say, hey, I have a kid that really, really wants this course. Can we work a trade? And then I make room for somebody else's student in one of our courses, and then they take our kid off the wait list. So there's a lot of negotiating going on behind the scenes, but we're very, very happy to do that to ensure kids get the credits that they need.
Okay, so that would be a conversation with guidance or with you guys?
With
Okay,
guidance
perfect.
first. And if you don't get anywhere with guidance, you can always come to me. But they're great.
Thank you
They'll help you out.
Always
Great,
start with
thank you.
guidance and then move forward. I'm just very mindful of our time, so I'm going to go to Pascal again, and then Dagmara, you're next.
Might be a
Pascal?
residual hand.
Or maybe Dagmara or Pascal, are you ready? Do you have a question?
No, I'm sorry that I did not
Okay,
have a
thank
question.
you. Dagmara, do you want to go ahead, please? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm having a question in regards of the credits because my son is attending Polish school on Saturdays. So I have applied for the credits from that school. Will it apply to this credits or it's something completely else? I'm sorry for this question. Maybe it's like, maybe it doesn't make sense for you. But
No, it's a great question. So yes, the schools do accept credits from other schools. So if the Polish course is completely online, it's not a synchronous course at all, there's no live instruction. If it is completely an online course, then we would also recognize it as an online course.
No, it's not an online course. They are attending in person for Saturdays. They are spending there like a whole day learning Polish.
Yeah.
So
is it a credit course offered through a school board?
They said so. I prepared the paperwork and I brought it to Polish school. So and they told me that at the end of the year they will give me some kind of
A report card.
certificate or
Yep.
something like that.
So
To
we need report cards from those schools, and once we get the report card, the Ontario Ministry of Education report card, you bring that to the homeschool, and then your guidance counselor will enter that credit.
oh, but it's something else, not this credit. It's different credits.
So it just has to be an Ontario credit, and then we can recognize it. If not,
Yeah,
there's another process that you can go through with your guidance counselor. So I would talk to them about something called PLAR.
yeah, but the question was if those credits which I can take from the Polish school are the credits which he can apply for this online courses. It's something different. I understand,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
All
it's
right.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And we have, thank you for your question. Ike, I believe you are next.
Yeah. Thank you, Sonia. I think you just mentioned before that all the online courses now is only for de-streamed, right? It's not for local developed. Are we going to have more courses, online courses for local developed?
That's an excellent question, and I wish I had an answer for you right now. It's certainly something that we can bring forward to the people that write the courses, but we can make that suggestion and that request based on interest. So,
okay. The second question is that for all those courses are they all elective courses, or some of those can be mandatory?
Some of them can be the compulsory credits for sure, but we find that more students are taking electives through online learning because those are courses that don't typically get offered in their schools.
Okay, last question is, can we select any of those?
Yes.
Doesn't matter if even they are similar. For example, like you take art 1, art 2, and both of them are arts, but you still can take them.
Yes, you can. Yeah. The same way that you could in day school.
Okay, I see. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
I believe I'm just double checking the chat. I'm not sure if we've answered every question. Someone did ask if you need to book an appointment with guidance. If they almost all the students in our schools have a guidance counselor associated with them.
Yes.
I know when my children went to HT, they were by last name. Last name is A. So they always went to the first guidance counselor, which was A to Z or A to M or something like that. So it depends on the school, and it usually lists on their timetable who their guidance counselor is to go visit.
And most of the guidance departments have information on their school web pages specifically to either student services or to the guidance department, and you can find more information there around who you should be contacting.
I'm just going to end with a short story. One of my former students, I used to do blended learning. Sonia Ellison said, hey, do you want to do this in your classroom? We did blended learning. I used the VLE. Some of those students are now teachers teaching using the VLE Brightspace. So it's kind of full circle for me. So I see some of my former students and now they're teaching courses online. So it's kind of neat. Those transferable skills, it's not just about taking a science course or a math course or a humanities course. We're teaching kids how to be online safely, how to do things such as give feedback to each other, how to discuss something online. And it's in a safe and good way to do it. So it's just one of the things that the ministry has asked us to do, and we're responding. And I think it's something good for kids to learn how to be online in a safe environment. It's all about balance, of course, going outside, being online, those kinds of things. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
I was just going to put our emails in and the chat is turned off.
Yes, that's okay. We'll make sure that our emails are in the PowerPoint. So when it gets shared, you can find us later.
Yeah. Thank you to all the parents. We have one more last question from Veronica.
to just say thank you so much. This was so informative. I didn't realize I had so much access to my child's education. I felt like I was spending so much time looking for things and trying to figure things out. And this was amazing. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone who put this presentation together.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That was a wonderful presentation by everyone. You guys were amazing. At this time, we'd like to thank our speakers, Superintendent Del Soto, Sonia Ellison, and Maureen Arcelin, for taking the time to speak with us today. We would also like to thank Andre Brown and Superintendent Dinolfo, along with us, the CPIC committee, for helping promote and organize this event. A special thanks to all you wonderful parents for attending this event and investing in the future of our students. And would like to end this with a closing prayer. So let's start with a sign of our faith in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we come before you today in humility and faith. We thank you for all you've given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask you for your guidance and strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Help us to remember your love and grace and to be faithful in our service to you. Give us the patience and understanding to face life's challenges with grace. We ask this in your name. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. It was a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.